Hello, welcome to Bible Study Online. Today I'm going to be starting from chapter 3. God bless you.
Chapter 3. Next we turned and went up along the road toward Bashan, and Og king of Bashan with his whole army marched out to meet us in battle at Edrei. The Lord said to me, "Do not be afraid of him, for I have handed him over to you with his whole army and his land. Do to him what you did to Sihon king of the Amorites, who reigned in Heshbon." So the Lord our God also gave into our hands Og king of Bashan and all his army. We struck them down, leaving no survivors. At that time we took all his cities. There was not one of the 60 cities that we did not take from them. The whole region of Argob, Og's kingdom in Bashan. All these cities were fortified with high walls and with gates and bars, and there were also a great many unwalled villages. We completely destroyed them, as we had done with Sihon king of Heshbon, destroying every city, men, women, and children. But all the livestock and the plunder from their cities we carried off for ourselves. So at that time we took from these two kings of the Amorites the territory east of the Jordan, from the Arnon Gorge as far as Mount Hermon. Hermon is called Syriam by the Sidonians. The Amorites call it Senir. We took all the towns on the plateau, and all Gilead, and all Bashan as far as Salakah, and Edrei, towns of Og's kingdom in Bashan. Only Og king of Bashan was left of the remnant of the Rephaites. His bed was made of iron, and was more than 13 feet long and 6 feet wide. It is still in Rabbah of the Ammonites. Of the land that we took over at that time, I gave the Reubenites and the Gadites the territory north of Aroer by the Arnon Gorge, including half the hill country of Gilead, together with its towns. The rest of Gilead and also all of Bashan, the kingdom of Og, I gave to the half-tribe of Manasseh. The whole region of Argob in Bashan used to be known as a land of the Rephaites. Jair, a descendant of Manasseh, took the whole region of Argob as far as the border of the Jeshurites and the Maacathites. It was named after him, so that to this day Bashan is called Havoth Jair. And I gave Gilead to Machir. But to the Reubenites and the Gadites I gave the territory extending from Gilead down to the Arnon Gorge, the middle of the gorge being the border, and out to the Jabbok River, which is the border of the Ammonites. Its western border was the Jordan in the Arabah, from Kinnereth to the sea of the Arabah, the Salt Sea, below the slopes of Pisgah. I commanded you at that time, "The Lord your God has given you this land to take possession of it, but all your able-bodied men armed for battle must cross over ahead of your brother Israelites. However, your wives, your children, and your livestock, I know you have much livestock, may stay in the towns I have given you, until the Lord gives rest to your brothers as he has to you, and they too have taken over the land that the Lord your God is giving them across the Jordan. After that, each of you may go back to the possession I have given you." At that time, I commanded Joshua, "You have seen with your own eyes all that the Lord your God has done to these two kings. The Lord will do the same to all the kingdoms over there where you are going. Do not be afraid of them. The Lord your God himself will fight for you." At that time, I pleaded with the Lord, "O sovereign Lord, you have begun to show to your servant your greatness and your strong hand. For what God is there in heaven or on earth who can do the deeds and mighty works you do? Let me go over and see the good land beyond the Jordan, that fine hill country, and Lebanon." But because of you, the Lord was angry with me and would not listen to me. "That is enough," the Lord said. "Do not speak to me any more about this matter. Go up to the top of Pisgah, and look west and north and south and east. Look at the land with your own eyes, since you are not going to cross this Jordan. But commission Joshua and encourage and strengthen him, for he will lead this people across and will cause them to inherit the land that you will see. So we stayed in the valley near Beth Peor.
That was chapter 3, and I just want to discuss a few things. And the first thing again is that the earth is the Lord's and its fullness thereof, and God gives any part of the world to anybody he pleases, even today. In verses 18 to 20, we are to help our brothers and sisters, which is everyone. God has given us resources, power, wealth, etc., so that we have enough for ourselves and extra to help others, our siblings, our neighbors, the less privileged. And you can do so by praying and fasting for them, giving your resources, your time, your skills and talents to helping them, and including your money. The other thing is, when we obey God and help each other, we get blessings from God. In verse 20, we can see that it says, after that, each of you may go back to the possessions I have given you. When we obey God, we gain his blessings. The fourth thing is, God commands us not to be afraid of our adversary, Satan and its agents, because he will go before us and fight for us. See verses 22. Verse 22 says, do not be afraid of them. The Lord your God himself will fight for you. So God has commanded us not to be afraid of our adversaries, Satan and all its agents. God answers the prayers of his children, even if we offend him. His answer may not come in the exact way we expect it, or the exact way we ask for it, or right away, but nonetheless he answers our prayers. God answered Moses when he requested to go and see the land that God had promised. Even though God was angry with Moses, God still answered Moses. See verses 25 to 27. The sixth thing I'd like to point out is that God commanded Moses to commission and encourage Joshua, because God was going to use him to lead the Israelites into the promised land. This is how we are to encourage and strengthen each other, especially the new converts in our midst, because today's new convert will be tomorrow's shepherd. Today's lamb will be tomorrow's sheep. And finally, I'd like you to note that the will of God always gets done, even if plans change or people die. We can see that Moses, for example, Moses died before the Israelites got to the promised land, but that didn't stop the Israelites from possessing the land that God had promised, because that was the will of God. Instead, God used Joshua. So no matter the situation that you find yourself, or how huge, no matter the situation you're in, or how huge or often the change is, be comforted in knowing that God's will always be done in our lives as it is in heaven. Thank you, and God bless you. I welcome your comments and your thoughts on this chapter. Thank you, and God bless you.